That's the scene of the crime. Taking a live look at Chicago, where yesterday the Lions kind of went down in flames against the Bears. Wasn't the greatest Sunday afternoon for football watchers. I feel like the largest phrase that was coming from my house around the television was, "What are you doing?" That's what my son kept yelling watching the Lions game yesterday. Well, our Lions Kool-Aid Corner gets together here this morning and talks about what went wrong and their hope for next week. Take a look.
So not a pretty sight this week. Lions get shut out second half against the Bears. Took them about 20 minutes to get a first down after halftime. Are we panicking at this point? Ben, are you panicking?
Panic mode.
Yeah.
I'm hitting it, man. I'm hitting the golden buzzer of the panic. Listen, I didn't think they were going to win yesterday because going into that game, I'm like, Bears are coming off a bye. This kind of reminds me of that the Carolina game last year where, things are tightening up at the end of the season. You're going to lose some road games. They just seem like they're regressing in every aspect of their game, man. I mean, bad coaching, bad play, and stupid mistakes all over the place. If I have to watch one more drop snap, I'm going to lose my mind. I think that's 4 on the season, and that is just what bad teams do. God, I'm getting very frustrated.
All right, we're going to make Jason go last. Kari, are you panicking?
I 100%. First of all, let me just say this. No more prognosticating for me, because I thought they were going to win by 2 touchdowns, not lose by the same amount. So I'm done. I see dumb stuff happening. I can't even pay attention anymore. It's just like, you know what? House chores. That's what we're doing now. So yeah.
Ken?
I guess like I'm just wondering, for both of you, what does panic button really mean? Like, is it like, oh no, we're gonna crash out and miss the playoffs, or is it like, oh, we're not gonna win the Super Bowl? Because I'm kind of like in the middle there, where it's like, all right, we're not as good as we thought we were. Clearly, we're probably in like the middle to upper tier. Jason's just itching right now to get at me, but like, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking that maybe our expectations got a little too high with the early run, and we're just kind of settling back to where we.
Yeah, our expectations got so high, and I feel like that house of cards has kind of fallen down because now I'm looking at Jared Goff in a completely different perspective. The fact that Brad Holmes hasn't signed him it looked a little weird a few weeks ago. Now it looks like a brilliant move, and having Hendon Hooker sit there behind him, it looks brilliant right now. And it's like, what are we really doing with that? Now my brain is thinking about that, where a couple weeks ago I was ready to sign Goff to, pay him $50 million a year. I ain't doing that.
Before we unleash Colthorpe, I just want to address a couple of these points here. Did our expectations get too high? I don't know that they did based on how the Lions were playing at the time. In October, they blew out 4 teams in a row. And I don't care who you're playing. Sure, one of them was the Panthers, but you're blowing out, the Buccaneers. You're blowing out the Falcons, a couple teams that have pulses. If the Lions had kept playing to that quality, I think we would still have those expectations. But I don't think any of us now have any hope of winning the Super Bowl. I think at one point earlier this season, that felt like a possibility. That is off the table entirely for me. The way you see the 49ers playing, the way you see the Cowboys playing, it doesn't even look like the Lions are playing the same sport as them right now. With the mistakes that they're making and how sluggish they look, even the last 2 wins, Ben and I were talking, they felt like losses. Because against the Saints, they almost blew a 21-point lead. Okay, fine. Maybe you took your foot off the gas a little bit, a little understandable. But that first Bears game, they got outplayed for 57 minutes and then turned it on at the end. Then, yesterday, they get outplayed for 45 minutes. So you're talking about 120 minutes, and the Lions only played about 18 minutes of decent football against the last place team in the division. So I think panicking is the right response here because you look forward.
I'm not saying I'm not panicking, to be clear. I definitely am. I'm just wondering, like, what does that actually mean? I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to lose the division. I still think they're going to clinch it. Let's go to Jason.
Ken, panicking means losing a home playoff game to Matthew Stafford. That's what panicking means. And blowing the division just like they did a few years ago. And Derek's right. We had high expectations because the defense looked so good. Oh, my God, they made this incredible turnaround, and suddenly we had a great defense. Well, 3 weeks ago, that's when I hit the panic button. You guys just, oh, come on, because we had just gone 2 weeks of giving up all these yards, all these first downs to below average defenses, and now it's 5 straight weeks of at least 26 points to below average offenses. And here comes another one that's probably the best of any of the 5, Denver, who's now 6-1 in their last 7. And going like this while we're going like this. And then you have the Cowboys, that's an L. And now you got to pray that you win both of the games against Minnesota. or else you're going to actually blow this division after having a 3.5 game lead at one point.
And which is, to answer your question, that's how I feel. It's just that we're now back to same old Lion stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're at a point where we have to watch the things that we thought evaporated. They're finding their way back. So I'm not off the bandwagon. I'm just on Jason's bandwagon.
Well, I have
you know
an
what mean?
idea, and I mentioned this to Kari earlier. See if I can get you guys on board. So the defense is a disaster. Rewind 5 years ago, Kansas City had this amazing offense and a terrible defense. Remember when Spagnuolo just would dial up random plays and just try and create havoc, and they'd give up 21, 24 points a game, but they would cause all these drive derailing plays like tackles for loss and sacks and turnovers. And that's what I think the Lions have to do. They have to just throw everything at the wall on defense and hope that they can create havoc instead of just, they're going to march down the field on you anyway. I mean, I can't imagine what Brock Purdy would do to this defense right now, or Dak Prescott. They might score 50 next week.
Clearly, they've been exposed, right? Like the first 6 or 7 weeks, apparently the whole league got enough film on them that every single scheme that they've created since has worked. So I don't know. I think it's a coaching failure for sure on defense. They have some injuries, but everybody has injuries. I hate that as an excuse. They're going to get some guys back. Maybe it'll help, but I think it's an Aaron Glenn failure, and at some point, somebody's going to have to be
I think
held
the
accountable.
defense is so bad that it's spilling over into the offense. Like the offense has to operate in a certain way because they know the defense is so bad, and it's affecting the way they strategize.
I think that's affecting the way Dan Campbell makes his decisions too. When he went for that 4th down deep in his own territory, he felt like he had to.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing a few games ago. I can't remember. People were really mad at him for going for like a 4th and 1 on his own 20-yard line.
The fake punt.
The fake punt, that's what it was. And I thought maybe the fake punt was the wrong call, but I thought you should probably go for this because you're not going to get the ball back with a chance to win this game. It's gotten that bad. Okay, so before we're done, will the Lions win the NFC North, yes or no?
Okay, this is what I'm going to say. This game against the Broncos on Saturday is a must-win
game.
This game is going to tell us everything we need to know about the rest of the season. I think if you drop this game at home with a pumped-up crowd, you can say bye to...
Carter said it best.
You can say bye to a home playoff win because any team's going to come in and just pop us. But if we can get back on track, and really look good against the Broncos at home with a big primetime crowd, Dan Campbell with that crazy look on his eye, on the sideline again. Let's get that back. And I think if we can pull it off, we'll be fine. They'll win the NFC North, at least. But everything is riding on this game. This is now a must-win game for the Lions.
Jason, North?
I think they hang on for the North somehow. I don't know how that path is going to be, whether they beat Minnesota twice or pull it out this week and then win both of those or one of those, and maybe Green Bay misses a step next week against the Bucs. But if Green Bay runs the table, it's going to be very tough. So I think they hold on, and somebody's going to come in here the first week of the playoffs and probably going to beat the Lions.
Might be Green Bay. What about you, Kari?
They don't lose 2 games in a row, so I still feel like there's enough games left where they'll still win it. So.
Ken?
I agree. If they beat the Broncos, division's wrapped up. If they don't, I'll be very, very worried about it.
I'm worried. I don't think they're going to hold on. I really don't. I've been saying it for weeks, and you hated me on my Minnesota Vikings love.
Well, you were wrong, though. It's the Packers.
Yeah, it could be the Packers. That's
It's
true.
the Packers.
Well, fitting that we're running low on Kool-Aid, so it's a tough game, but a lot riding on this Saturday.
Oh, yeah, running low on the Kool-Aid. It's definitely a must-win Saturday. And don't you want to be there? Well, we're giving you an opportunity to be at the Lions game next Saturday night here in Detroit, of course. Just go to clickondetroit.com and you can enter to win 2 tickets. So, Lions, Broncos, Saturday night, primetime, baby. I'm actually going to be there. I'm taking my kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be wearing the colors.